If you're looking for a fast internet connection on the go backed by the reliability of multiple carriers, then you definitely need to check out the TravlFi JourneyGo portable hotspot. This thing is incredibly compact. It fits in the palm of your hand. It's thin enough to fit in your pocket. It has its own battery for power, and so it's completely portable. And like I said, it's backed by multiple carriers, all the major networks. And then you can choose from data plans as small as 2 gigabytes all the way up to unlimited data. Now, I've got a lot of information to cover in today's video, so definitely stay tuned to the end. But to give you a preview, I'm going to cover the following topics and questions in today's video. First, why even bother with a portable Wi-Fi hotspot? Second, how fast are these speeds in real-world scenarios? And then third and last, who do I recommend the TravlFi JourneyGo to? Now, before I answer those questions, let me disclose that TravlFi sent me this JourneyGo to test and make this video. But like I tell all vendors for product reviews that I do, I'm always going to share my own candid thoughts when I review them. So first up, let's talk about why even bother with a portable Wi-Fi hotspot like the TravlFi JourneyGo, right? And I suppose one could even argue this is kind of the elephant in the room, so to speak. I've always thought of hotspots as kind of a thing of the past because most modern day cell phones give you a built-in hotspot, and most carriers give you at least some provision to use your phone as a hotspot. And so since we're all carrying around cell phones today, why not just turn your phone into a hotspot, right? What advantages does a portable hotspot like this one here give you? Well, let me give you two main benefits that the JourneyGo offers over using your phone as a hotspot. First, while it is true that most modern cell phones can be used as hotspots, the data plans that back them up may have restrictions. I've even seen where unlimited cell phone plans, if you read the fine print, it'll actually tell you that if you use your phone as a hotspot, the carrier will detect that and they will throttle down your speed, or maybe they limit how much data they will deliver to your phone as a hotspot and then slow you all the way down to dial-up speeds if you exceed that limit. Now, not all plans are like that, but with the TravlFi JourneyGo, these speeds are going to be consistent regardless of how much data you're going to use. And I'll show you those speed tests here in just a minute. But the second benefit to use the JourneyGo over your phone as a hotspot, and this is really the big selling point to me, if you're using your phone as a hotspot, it is backed by a single carrier. And so what if you're traveling somewhere where the service for your particular carrier is weak or non-existent? Well, you're out of luck then. With the TravlFi JourneyGo, because it's backed by multiple carriers, it's going to be connecting to the strongest cell tower, and that way you have service where you might not with your cell phone. And folks, I really think that is by far the biggest selling point really of all the TravlFi products, because if you travel, whether you do road trips or in an RV, or maybe you travel for business, chances are you found yourself somewhere where you don't have great cell phone service. And so if you're relying on your phone as a hotspot, well, you're not going to have reliable internet. Whereas with the TravlFi devices, because they're backed by multiple carriers, when you turn it on, it's going to scan and connect to the strongest cell tower and then get you reliable internet. It does all that behind the scenes, so you're not having to, manage multiple accounts with different carriers. It's doing all that for you seamlessly, and you've got one device, one company to work with. So that is by far my favorite feature of the TravlFi products. Perhaps you can relate, if you travel and you need a reliable internet connection for your work. I mean, we got to get our work done, right? Even if we're on vacation. And so to have a reliable internet connection and not have to worry about when you get to your destination, are you going to have strong service or not? Knowing that the TravlFi products are going to connect to the strongest tower, it just gives a lot of assurance to me. And that's why I've been using TravlFi products for really the better part of the last 2 years, because I know when I get to a destination, it's going to connect to the strongest tower. So those are two benefits that I think using a device like the TravlFi JourneyGo offers over using your phone as a hotspot. But what about the speeds that you get with the TravlFi JourneyGo? Well, I've been testing it for the last month or so, both in my local community, but also traveling across states, going through airports and such. And what I found is the JourneyGo has fairly consistent speeds. I've been averaging right around 20 megabits per second download which is more than sufficient if you're someone trying to get work done on the go. You know, I'm using it for basic emails, internet, maybe some light video conferencing here and there, and that is more than sufficient, but it's been very consistent. So let me show you some of those speed tests. The first speed test I'll show you, this was when I was traveling in the Midwest. This was at a hotel in the suburbs. And you know, oftentimes at hotels, yeah, they have free Wi-Fi, but it's typically very unreliable, very slow. So I was thankful to have the JourneyGo, and you can see right there, 16.2 megabits per second on the download, which is more than sufficient to get my work done, you know, just basic emails and internet use. But then check this out on the upload speed right here. I was really impressed. This one came back at 14.3 megabits per second. So this would come into play if I was uploading things to the cloud, you know, backing up to the cloud, or even some video conferencing where I'm sending my video feed to the conference. So that was really impressive. Now, the second speed test I'm going to play back, this was recorded just outside of the Atlanta airport. It was on the interstate. Don't worry, I wasn't actually driving. I was being chauffeured around, trying to take care of some business en route. And so this was in transit on the interstate. And check this out. For the download speed, this one finished up right at 21 megabits per second. Very respectable. And again, this was in motion. On the upload speed, if I'm not mistaken, this was one of the slower upload speeds that I observed testing the JourneyGo. And this one finished up right at 2.2 megabits per second. So like I said, this is one of the slower upload speeds. Really, that's going to come into play if I was trying to back up something to the cloud, you know, or do some video conferencing where I'm trying to send my video. But still, 21 megabits per second, very respectable. Third speed test that I'll play back here, this one I recorded in a suburb of Metro Atlanta. I had some downtime in between appointments, and so I was sitting in the car, you know, trying to TCB a little bit, taking care of business on my laptop. And so pulled out the JourneyGo and connected it, and check this out. For the download speed, this one was 18.6 megabits per second. So again, very consistent across all the different tests that I ran. It was very consistent, averaging right around 20. And then look at this on the upload. I think this is one of the best upload speeds that I got. This one finished out at 25.4 megabits per second. I mean, that would be more than enough if I had to video conference on the go using the JourneyGo. But last, let me show you two more back-to-back tests that I ran in the same location, first with my cell phone's carrier, and then second with the TravlFi JourneyGo. And again, these were done in the same location. This first one that I'm showing you was directly on my phone through the cell phone carrier, which happens to be AT&T in this case. And where I tested it here, I just happen to know that the cell signal for all the carriers is typically very weak. I mean, usually I'm getting 1 bar, maybe 2 bars, and so the speeds are not so great. And you can see here, this one on my phone finished up at 8 megabits per second download. So, you know, pretty slow compared to some of those other speed tests that I showed you. And then on the upload, I mean, it is almost non-existent right there, 0.1 megabits per second. Maybe it'll get a little bit faster. And this one closed out at 0.02 megabits per second. So pretty slow. But then let me show you this next one. So then I connected the JourneyGo, turned it on, and it connected right away to a cell tower, the strongest cell tower, of course. And then I ran the same speed test, same location with my phone connected to the JourneyGo. And look at this. Night and day difference, same location. And this one's going to finish up at 27.3 megabits per second. So again, 8 megabits per second on my phone using its cell carrier, and then 27.3 megabits per second using the TravlFi JourneyGo. And even on the upload right there, 15.9 megabits per second. And like I said, the cell signal here where I tested it, it's not that great. And you know, I really think that demonstrates my earlier point. Why bother with a portable hotspot in the first place, since most phones you can use as a hotspot, right? And really that last test demonstrated that, you know, your cell carrier may have a weak signal or just a slow connection, whereas the TravlFi JourneyGo, it's going to connect to the strongest cell tower. And I think you're going to get a much more consistent and reliable speed overall. Okay, so last question. Who do I recommend the JourneyGo to? I mean, what kind of use case scenarios is it best suited for, right? And really based on the form factor alone, I mean, the fact that it has its own battery inside, that you can use this without external power. The manufacturer estimates about 16 hours of use before you have to recharge it. And that's about what I found. I was getting close to a full day's use, where at the end of the day, after traveling and keeping it on for most of the day, it would be pretty much at the end of its battery, 9, 10 o'clock at night there. And so the fact that it's completely portable and just so compact, I think if you're someone that does lots of business travel, where you're on major interstates, or you're going from airport to airport, hotel to hotel, and you need a fast, reliable internet connection. It's just so easy to use. It doesn't have settings to adjust or multiple buttons that you have to press. In fact, it just has one button right here that you hold down in order to power it on. And then it's going to run its algorithm to find the strongest cell tower and then connect. And so within minutes, you're going to be up and running and connected to the Wi-Fi. I'll show you just how simple the interface is on it if you want to look into your cell signal or your battery life. If you type into your browser, once you're connected, mywifistatus.com, it's going to show you your exact battery level, the current carrier you're connected to if you're curious, is it T-Mobile or AT&T, right? And then, of course, your remaining data available based on the data plan that you selected. So it's very simple. There's no settings to adjust or something you can accidentally, get into and mess things up. And then you can also see the battery level on the actual device itself. But going back to who I would recommend it to, I could also see if you're an RVer like myself, maybe a weekend warrior where you're going camping on the weekends periodically, but then during the week you're traveling for business frequently. I could really see the portability of this device being a major selling point, because then you can take it with you for business. And then those weekends when you're out camping, you've got a reliable internet connection. So it kind of doubles between, business and pleasure. Now, if I may draw a contrast concerning the recommendation, let's suppose that you're a full-time RVer, you've got a fifth wheel or a motorhome perhaps, and regardless of whether you're on the road or stationary, you're always with your RV. Not that the JourneyGo wouldn't be beneficial to you in your situation, but if you're full-time and you're always with your RV, I would actually recommend one of TravlFi's other products, such as the Journey XTR or the Journey XTR Pro. And the reason I would recommend that is those products get their power externally from your RV, essentially, whether you plug them into an outlet or pull 12 volts. And I think those devices are going to be much better suited if you're living in an RV or you're with your RV all the time. Not only the power reason, but also they're going to have larger antennas attached to them. And so they might pull in a better signal compared to something that's more portable like this guy here. Again, not that you won't get good service with the JourneyGo if you're living full-time in an RV, but I really see the portability and its size as more appealing to someone who's on the go. I really think if you're living full-time in your RV or you're a heavier internet user than the Journey XTR or the Journey XTR Pro with the 5G, I think that's gonna suit your needs better. And so if that describes you, if you're interested, I'll include links to the reviews on the XTR series down below. But on the other hand, if your lifestyle is more portable and you need reliable internet on the go without having to plug anything in, that's where I really think the JourneyGo can benefit you. I mean, just imagine you could be on the beach with your chair set up, with your laptop, with the JourneyGo, and getting all your work done right there on the beach without having to plug in, and you have reliable internet. In fact, if I didn't mention it already, you can actually use the JourneyGo as a portable power station. So if you've got your phone on the beach and it's running low on battery and you've got the JourneyGo, you can actually plug it in and it will recharge your phone. So that's pretty nifty. Well, last, for those curious on the cost of the device itself, it has an MSRP of $159. Of course, watch for sales and promos so you can save more money. And then the actual data plans themselves, they're very reasonable. At the risk of dating this video, I'm not going to include specific pricing for the data plans. Instead, I will include a link down below so you can check the real-time rates. But I will say I've been using TravlFi Internet for nearly 2 years now, and their rates have always been very reasonable. Once in a while, they might change the data pools and the pricing just a little bit, but it's always just been very reasonable. You know, they have plans as small as 2 gigabytes. I might use that if I just need a couple days or a weekend here and there. And then they have plans all the way up to unlimited data. You know, if I need a full month's worth of hotspot use, then I might use one of those plans. So there's a lot of options out there. There's no contracts, so you can do it 1 month or 1 week and then skip the next few months if you don't need it anymore. Again, I'll include a link down below, so definitely check out the current data plans. Now, folks, do me a favor. Earlier in the video, I mentioned a couple different use case scenarios where I think the JourneyGo is best suited for, but I'm always curious, if you're watching this, what other kinds of use case scenarios can you think of for the JourneyGo? Definitely drop a comment down below. If you have any questions about the JourneyGo, post your question down below and I'll be glad to answer it. Last, if you're interested in purchasing the JourneyGo, I will include affiliate links down below along with any discount codes or promotions to make sure that you get the best price. So I appreciate you using those links to help support the channel. As always, thanks for watching.